there are good supporters along the way. Early on, James had two very robust trustees, which I think he needed to have. They were highly sought after professional individuals. And over time, the current trustees are much closer to friends and supporters of the recovery community. But now the trustees have been re-expanded because of the complexity of the organisation to actually include the friends of recovery, the lay people, but with the real expertise in law and finance, which is required now and stuff.
Yeah,
so, in each bit of the organisation, you can see all these kind of changes that go on as it has to grow, really, to arrive at the brilliant position of it is at the moment, and the last bit of that sequence, and I don't know if James has talked about it, but the last bit of that sequence has been this year for North Wales recovery communities to almost go back to the initial vision in itself, that it's the umbrella recovery, it's the glue that brings the stuff together. But even of the direct North Wales recovery activity, we've now separated those off into three different legal community interest companies rather than being one shared, to allow different things to go on. So it was all one legal entity, and now we've got the residential as one part, the cafe as one part, and the growing as one part. And
okay, that's good.
And that's important because we've grown to a place where and you can't have you and I have touched on these, but you can't have any of these conversations, and it was really important to James, you can't have any of these conversations without understanding financially how you're going to make them sustainable at some level. You can't do it in the 21st century with zero money. You can do it with a lot less than others, and and the third sector has always been far more famous for every £1 you give to the statutory sector, the third sector probably can do the same for 25p or something silly. I don't know what the maths are, but I'm sure it's there. But as the organisation has grown and it become very close to having £1 million threshold, that excludes it from the much softer, smaller types of income and ways in which it needs to operate. And to go back to having three different organisations rather than one allows each of them to be far more flexible.